Ladies and gentlemen, this is FaZe Apex right here. He's got a podcast. He has Nadeshot speak about his beef that he had with Scump. If you didn't know, Nadeshot and Scump were pro Call of Duty players on the same team back in the day, and they lived with each other. So he speaks on that here.
So the first episode I recorded of this show was with Rain, and we spoke about, we had a similar experience in the New York house, living together, and we were 18, trying to figure it out. But me and him, I guess we're similar to you and Scump, right? If I can make the comparison. Like, we were the two biggest on YouTube at the time.
Yeah.
And we kind of beefed behind the scenes. Not really publicly, but we had some falling out a little bit at the beginning. We kind of were really jealous of each other. We were very competitive together.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, though. Like, hindsight.
Yes. So we speak about it like that, right? We speak about it how, like, it made us better. And once we both clicked where it's like, we don't need to compete and want the other one to fail, but it should encourage us to do better, but not, we used to be mad when the other person's video would perform so well, for example. It was bad competition. But there's been
Us too.
Yeah,
Very toxic.
So I've heard, right? You guys have kind of spoke about it, but you and Scump. But is it true that you guys, like, how bad was it between you two?
I mean, it got bad at certain times. I mean, there's certain things that don't need to be said that you could just feel, especially when you're working side by side with each other. But
you guys were sitting next to each other, right?
Sitting next to each other. Yeah. I mean, listen, man. I always wanted to be the guy, just because I'm not a psychologist, but I think, and I certainly do believe this that I'm about to say. I don't think I'm a narcissist, but I definitely like attention in certain capacities, and I didn't necessarily understand that about myself when I was younger. Now that I'm older, and a lot of things that I cared about then, I don't care about as much now. Actually, little to no things, but Scump was always, I knew he was better than me at Call of Duty. And to be honest with you, I always thought Scump was funnier than me. But the only thing that I had that Seth didn't was that my viewership would be better than his on certain days or most days. And I think he had a couple pieces of things that I wanted to be or wish I was like. And I had something that he didn't have yet. And, obviously as time would tell, that is not true anymore. But we just wanted to be the one with the most viewers. And I think that was like natural at that moment in that era, because if the difference between having like 12,000 viewers versus like 6,000 viewers from an ad revenue perspective on Twitch was a massive change, bro. Before Twitch was really making creators the money they are today. So I think we just both wanted to be the number one guy, and that would get toxic for sure. Like, we'd be playing in a pub lobby together trying to record for YouTube. And it's not every game for Seth, it was. Any game that he stepped into, he could probably upload it at that time for what the bar was and the measurement of what made a good gameplay. And it would just come so easy to him. And there was
when you look at, like, those videos of them, I think they had to be, like, 18, 19? Like, they're little teenage boys. I mean, of course you're going to want to be number one. You got two competitive people right by each other. Of course it's going to get bad at times. But respect to them for maturing like he is now and, calling it what it was. And, I mean, it's just all part of it, dude. And the fact he can respectfully come back and be like, this is how it was, and he's okay with it, I think is awesome.
I think it was on Raid where I got a swarm kill streak, which was like I think the biggest at the time on that game, but Seth didn't die that game. Or he got multiple swarms, but I didn't die. And he wanted to upload the video, but I wanted to upload the video. And it was things like that, small things like that would just chip away at each other, that would make us just hate each other.
It's hilarious because Hex mentioned the exact same story.
Yeah.
When I asked him about from his perspective as, like, the leader of the house, whatever, right? Trying to, like, because I'm sure he had to, like, help step in some situations, guide you guys.
Well, the thing was, like, I don't pride myself on it, but I'm hyper aware. I'm self-aware of the things that I say and how people will react to it. And I don't like to have people mad at me. And I definitely know at that time, it's not like we ever took business classes, but I had to stay on Seth's good side for sure, because I knew how good he was. Yeah. And being on his team would be a big deal for me and my career.
Yeah.
So there would be times where I'm like, there's no way that I'm in the wrong here, but I would have to sort of like walk on eggshells because I didn't want to piss him off. But there's probably just boiling points where I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, dude, you are delusional. And I'm sure I was delusional at the time too. I mean, I'm fine admitting that now, but to be honest with you, if I had to go back, I'm like, I don't know if I'm really in the wrong here.
Yeah.
But Seth, he was just the best at everything. So I kind of had to play the game a little bit to make sure he didn't hate me. Because if he hated me, I'm off that team.
Really? Wow. That's very interesting.
He punched the
that's
door,
how you
brother.
feel. He punched the door?
Yeah. He punched it like a wooden door into the master bedroom because he was so mad at me. And he put a hole in it.
Wow.
A wooden door. Not like that's like plywood in the middle or plywood wood. You'd think I'd know. My dad's a carpenter. It was thick.
Yeah.
And he put a hole. Dude, because Seth was yoked at the time.
Yeah,
that guy
was.
could lift
I
weights for
forgot.
like a month and it looked like he was on T.
I'm thinking back to our house. I mean, Banks punched. You expect this, right? Banks
No
punched
way,
holes in
really?
the wall.
That's funny, dude. I used to watch these guys back in the day. Dude, that FaZe Banks guy, holy mother, that dude was off a perk. Anyways, that's kind of it for the most part there. I mean, I give respect to him for, owning up to it. A lot of people, even as they get older, they end up hating each other with whoever it was. But, they respect each other. They're friends, and I think it's great. So let me know what you guys think.